how to find a new church home. Have a church that you adore, you're just not feeling it. Maybe you don't have one at all and you're trying to figure out, where do I start? Because Googling church near me just seems incredibly hard. So today we're going to talk about why you need a new church home, 2, how to actually find it, because I'm all about practical tips and tricks, 3, once you've found it, what to do. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Rachel. I teach practical tips, the how-tos of how to live a Christian faith life for busy women like you and me. Do you need a new church home? My husband and I got married. Oh, I'm not wearing my ring. Hold on. There we go. Got married, and then we were living about 45 minutes to an hour from a church that we both adored. We loved their mission, the pastor, the music, the people. I had coffee with a friend who lovingly called me out like the best Christian women do and said, I know you can still make it on Sundays, but your community that's in the church isn't the community that's around you. Community at church is going to brunch. It's going on Tuesdays when you're out of cake batter and need someone to find. Is that just a me thing? I did this and realized, no, you're right. I don't live near my community anymore. It's just a need to find a new church. Well, how do you find a new church home? So my husband and I both sat down individually. Now this is very important. You don't want to do it together. Especially as women, we start to think, well, my thoughts and opinions don't really matter as much. What do you think? Separately, pray and journal about what you're looking for. For me, this is what I had. 1, mission. What are they trying to do in the community to serve the Lord? I'm very servant-hearted. That was a big thing to me. 2, the community of the church. Are they people our age? Are they people in our life stage? Because I want to grow again in community. 3, worship and pastor. I'm linking these 2 together. You could definitely have them as separate. Worship to me is when I feel God the most. And so I want to be free to raise my hands in the air and say, yes, Jesus. And if I don't feel comfortable doing that, if I feel judged in that situation, it's probably not the church for me. Then on Jake's list, he had a lot of the similar things. Wanted to make sure people were our same age and life stage. Him, it was about distance, which seemed really logical, but didn't make my list, although I probably should have been. Something with a little bit more distance than right next to home, but something a lot closer than 45 minutes, obviously. Here's where it gets fun. How do you actually find a church home? Ask people where they go to church. You ask people I worked with, he worked with, anyone that would talk to us at the HEB. If you don't have anyone ask, see what is around you. Pull up Google Maps. We already knew our denomination. We're non-denomination. Knew our denomination? Non-denomination? Anyway, if you don't know your denomination, that's okay. I wouldn't go anything over 30 minutes, especially if you're like us and it's Houston. 30 minutes is actually not distance, it is traffic. Where can you be in 30 minutes? That gives you a lot of community. It also keeps you consistent on going to church. And pick one. Pray on it, ask God, and go, yep, that's the one we're going to try out this Sunday. Now you've picked a church to attend. First off, bravo. It's very scary to go to a new church for the first time. As someone who grew up in the church, it's still intimidating. Here's where it gets important. Go with your husband, your friend, or your roommate, and do not discuss your experience together. That sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. Just like before we picked a church, I wanted you to write down what's most important to you. Now, to do the same thing, evaluate based on your list, does the criteria meet up? And do it separately so you're not influencing anyone's opinion. I want this to be a personal experience. Obviously, in your family, you want them all to like it as well. A church home is somewhere that you are going to volunteer, that you are going to make friends, that you are going to build a community, girl. And you can't do that if you're just going based on the church your husband wants you to go to. Praise the Lord, loved our church that we went to. But say you go to a church and it doesn't meet up, or it meets up with you and not your husband, or vice versa. Great, try a different one. But I would say before you try a different one, you have to go at least twice. Why? If you're going to that church, maybe they had a guest pastor that isn't the main one. Maybe they had a church choir when they normally have a full band. Maybe they only talked about tithe and giving the one time a year. Try a different service. Maybe it's a totally different experience. If after 2 times you both say, nope, that's not it, that's okay. Move on. Found a church that there's no real obvious reason not to pick it. It's not going to be a home right away. It's the same when you move into a new house. It's not automatically a home. It's still a house. It's the time and memories that you put into it that make it a home. So we have to treat church home the same way. You got to jump in. We are about a month into this new church, very new. I've already joined a Bible study that's 30 weeks long, and I've met some amazing people. I have signed up to join and volunteer. We've been going every Sunday. You have to give God the opportunity to really jive it. How is he gonna move you and change you and have you meet the people he wants you to serve and have them serve you if you're only going on Sundays? Church is community. Church is so much more than the building. It's the people that are in the building that make up the church. So you know it'll be scary. I think, well, I've only been going to church a week, 2 weeks. Great. Jump all in head first. Give it at least, I'd say 6 months to a year, but at least 6 months all in. For how-tos like this, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next time.